Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, and welcome to the Money and More Network. I am your hostess, Wendy Cassera, with Taxpectations, your bookkeeping, accounting, and all things tax. Smack dab in the middle of tax season, having a happy time in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's actually a beautiful day outside, sun shining, watching the ocean. I love to look out my view. Outside my window, the ocean, the water crashing, the sand and the surf. So, it's the Money and More show. So, I decided today we're going to talk about money. Money, because that's what we talk about. But first, we must have our quote of the day. Quote of the day is, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." And it didn't say who said that on this particular space that I found. But I thought it was kind of really super cool. But we have to have a quote from someone. So I decided to go to Albert Einstein, genius extraordinaire. And he says, "Your imagination is your preview of life's." Pretty cool. Your imagination gets you everywhere. And it really actually flows into what we're going to talk about today. I got a hold of a magazine. I'm reading all the time, Entrepreneur Magazine, accounting, all kinds of different ones. Anyway, so I'm looking through, and I found an article about the IRS, and this was actually, I think, in Mashable online, the IRS talking about Bitcoin and other virtual currencies and how they're going to be treated as property, not currency for federal tax purposes. Okay, so for instance, you have some Bitcoin somewhere in the world, and so you have to put it in as property. So it's going to be on, it's probably going to be on capital gains or losses. It's going to be, whatever. However, it says that the IRS says that taxpayers who mine virtual currency are responsible for taxes on what they mine. So the fair market value of the virtual currency on the date of the receipt, which is the day it was mined, is includable. I didn't even know if that was a word, but it says that. Includable in gross income. And I really got interested in this because, like, the IRS spends a lot of time. This is a long article on the laws and rules and regulations of Bitcoin and other virtual currencies. And so another article that was linked to it was talking about virtual currencies versus digital currencies. And so I got to really and looking it over. And I wanted to discuss it today because a tax preparer, I work with money all the time with my clients, bookkeeping, just all kinds of different things. And I'm really not involved a lot in the whole virtual, the Bitcoin and everything else. And I thought, it was going to be like a small thing, I guess. Wasn't paying as much attention to it as apparently I should have. So I'm really doing a lot of research on it. But I thought I would share this with you because it was absolutely fascinating to me. Okay, because this keeps going on. Virtual currency paid by an employer constitute wages for employment tax purposes. Okay, so if you get Bitcoin or virtual currencies, you have to put that in as income. So I'm like, how many people could possibly get paid this way? And I discovered a lot. I started looking through Entrepreneur Magazine. I was looking like all kinds of places all over the internet, attempting to find out more about this. And, of course, I ran across Bitcoin Magazine. And it talks about the differences between digital and virtual currencies. But it talked, Bitcoin is the big one because that's what the magazine was about. And they talked about different things that you can do with how popular it's become, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I jumped over to Entrepreneur Magazine. And when I typed in money, the first top 10 articles about money came up on the screen. So you could pick out which article you wanted to read. And there were 4 of them. 4 of the top 10 money articles on Entrepreneur Magazine talked about Bitcoin. And I found that just in itself really, really super interesting. So the very first one about Bitcoin said, would you work out harder if you got paid in Bitcoin? And it goes all into this article about people who do, they get paid in this Bitcoin. There's also a Fit coin. There are some other offshoots that are different price ranges and all that sort of thing. And Bitcoin says, get fit, get rich, or die mining, where you get fit coins for working out. And would you work harder if you could get it? Goes on to talk about that they were attempting to be the silver to Bitcoin's gold. And it looks like that they started doing all these projects and paying people in Bitcoins and Bitcoins. I mean, at one point they had some medical testing. Last year, the company shocked festival goers when it zapped an intern with 80,000 volts of electricity and paid him in Bitcoin. The intern wasn't hurt, except a bruised ego, because he apparently that was kind of a interesting thing that went on. But anyways, so just jumping around and going on and on and on, I run across another article, the Winklevoss twins. Bitcoin is like a child taking its first step, but will one day win the finance marathon. And I'm like, what? Yeah. These guys are saying they're tech entrepreneurs. They are the ones that won a big settlement with Facebook, because they helped design Facebook and then got cut out when Zuckerberg did his thing, whatever. So they got a ton of money, a settlement from Facebook. And these are two of the guys, and they're saying their comment is that even though this cryptocurrency isn't primed for mass adoption just yet, it will one day rule the financial world. And I had to stop and think about that, and reading through this article, all the things they're doing with Bitcoins. They are going on about the fact that this Bitcoin is an awesome and powerful technology. They are making investments. They're talking about going into space. People have invested $500 million into space projects, and they're now using Bitcoin as part of this investment. I mean, it just was like up and down, up and down. Americans, for the most part, don't use a lot of Bitcoin, but a lot of consumers across the world are actually using it for a lot of things. But guys, these twins actually paid for Virgin Galactic tickets to space, paid for it entirely in Bitcoin. And it was just kind of really, really interesting. The index they brought up, a dollar, according to the Windex at 1:46 Eastern time today, and this was written on March 10th of this year, 2015, the price of Bitcoin was $294.60. So they're putting a value on it. And I was like, okay, really, really? Okay, these guys are buying space travel. What else can you do? So searching, found Morgan Spurlock, the guy who survived on nothing but McDonald's for 30 days straight and didn't die. Surprise. There's a shock. It's going to be one of those, slow deaths, but let's not get into our stress. The guy that did Super Size Me. So he decides that he's going to live 30 days on, he tried to survive on Bitcoin for a week. I was looking down. He did the 30 days for McDonald's. So he was attempting to figure out what it was and what you could do with it. And he realized that 3/4 of Americans still don't know what the world's first digital currency is, and they have zero interest in using it. However, there are still people that are using it. So he decided to go out into New York and see what he could do. So there is a Bitcoin Center in New York City, which is just a stone's throw from the New York Stock Exchange and Wall Street. And he went up and down attempting to figure out what he could buy. So it turns out for his intent, and he did this in February of 2015. So one Bitcoin in February was worth about $242. He attempted to explain to people that Bitcoin was just like any other currency. And, you know, he had a little bit of issue. However, he did end up finding a friendly neighborhood pizzeria that was Bitcoin friendly. So he ordered pizza. He got a margarita pizza and a bottle of water, a slice of margarita pizza and a bottle of water, and the meal totaled $5.27 or 0.00083 Bitcoin. Success. Claimed himself the king of the Bitcoin and went on going on that it was really cool. The pizza was his first Bitcoin purchase. So he's walking around and he ended up in a Brooklyn bodega where he bought $42.72 worth of groceries in Bitcoin. The store owner there said he clocks about 1,000 Bitcoin transactions per month, and he prefers Bitcoin payments to credit card payments because they're cheaper, they're safer, and there are no chargebacks. However, of course, we're still in the United States, and a lot of people are not, and shopkeepers are not keen on the virtual money. He called Time Warner Cable, called some of the other big name places, and attempted to pay his bill with Bitcoins, and they all, turned him away. There's a shocker. He ended up just going everywhere. I mean, he spent a week attempting everywhere to spend his Bitcoin. He found a Rolex knockoff, but he found he thought it was a real Rolex. It turned out to be $285, and so it was about 0.45 Bitcoin. And then it turned out it had to be shipped from Hong Kong in a big mess and kind of funny. But he just was going on looking for places. He found a company called Coin Miner, which is a Bitcoin mining operation. For doing this mining online, he put together Bitcoin mining processors at Coin Miner and was making about $200 a day. However, it was paid out in Bitcoin. So he goes on to say some of the things he did. He said that trying to live off of Bitcoin for a few days felt like years because it took him so long to find places. But it was kind of really an interesting, fun exercise for him, and I thought that was kind of really super cool. But I went on to find out about other things besides the Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the top thing right now. But there's a lot of virtual money out there, and the other article by Bitcoin Magazine that was talking about digital versus virtual currencies went on to talk about different games. And other places. For instance, if you're on the virtual world Second Life, they have it's a simulator game developed by Linden Labs, and Linden Labs will allow you to exchange Linden dollars for real world currency. So you can buy things in their game, obviously, by buying some of their virtual currencies. And the funny thing is you can get real goods and services here. I mean, it's a really, really big world, and you can go back and forth making money in Second Life and cashing it out. And of course, it's pennies and pennies and pennies on the dollar. However, games like World of Warcraft and Eve, both are targeting. You can, but you can't buy their virtual money with your dollars, but you can, you can't spend their virtual coins and cash it out like dollars the same as you can with Second Life, but they are working on doing something like that. And they were talking about that there's so many things you can buy in these games, and ways to buy time, ways to for more game time and buying property and stuff in these games. And they are looking most certainly at finding ways to make these count and pay in real life. But, a lot of people go on about, virtual money. Oh, that's not possible. That's not going to happen, da-da-da-da-da-da. But if you think about it, think about like PayPal, okay? PayPal, yes, it's connected to your bank account, but you're out there buying goods and services. by the click of a button. I mean, is that not considered virtual currency of some sort? Your credit cards. I mean, it used to be when you went to buy something, you had to hand somebody a dollar bill or coins. Go back in history to gold and silver and tradable objects. And now we have all of these bits of plastic, and we're buying and selling things based on bits of plastic. Do you ever actually hold that money in your hands? No. Does the person who receives it in exchange for their goods and services actually hold that money? No. This is all virtual money, people. I mean, that's bottom line. Isn't that the very definition of it? And so I found it very interesting that the twins talked about that even though cryptocurrency isn't the ruling factor right now, one day it will rule the financial world. And I have to say that I agree with it. I agree with that statement. We're already spending a lot more money than we have. I mean, isn't that, America? We're spending more money than we have because we have loans from the bank. Look at mortgages. You get a mortgage on your house. Do you ever see that money? Does the bank who takes out the mortgage ever see the money? No, it's all just transaction with figures on a computer screen, right? Et cetera, et cetera. So how could the system not get to that, to where in the future we don't actually have dollar bills and coins in our, better cash out them coins now, right? Turn in all those coins you have in the jug in the living room. But I have to agree. I mean, go back to our original discussion. The Internal Revenue Service is counting this as property, and in some places, some ways considered income. I said that about Second Life. There are people who make a living in Second Life. I mean, really, their life, they pay their rent by money they've made in Second Life and have converted it to real life currencies. There's real estate agents selling houses in Second Life. You go on there and you can look for a house. Now it's showing you pictures and that sort of thing, but it's also giving the contact information for real life real estate in the real life world. And I think that more and more that kind of thing is going to happen. There aren't many people now who are not playing a game of some sort that has something to do with virtual currencies in some form or fashion or other. So, of course, the IRS is getting involved in saying that you have to pay taxes on that money. The IRS says if independent contractors receive Bitcoin or other virtual currencies for performing services, that virtual currency constitutes self-employment income and as such is subject to self-employment tax. And again, the tax amount applies to the fair market value of the virtual currency on the date of receipt. Okay? These are laws being written into law. These are rules that are being made part of the IRS rules, regulations, et cetera, on money and coin and all that sort of thing. So really, that's the way it's going. The Bitcoin article. Unlike centralized currencies, Bitcoins are mined at a mathematically controlled rate, and their supply subject is what the market demands. So this is distinguishing themselves from traditional currencies like the dollar, which follow the decision-making of central banks. The cryptography inherent in cryptocurrency also makes it more anonymous than any real or virtual currencies, which are tracked by banks and developers. Haha, there's an interesting way to put it. But it talks about where's the question? Where does the virtual world end and reality begin? Is owning an image in a game different from owning an image on a website? There you go. The amount of time people spend in online games will continue to climb as technology advances, to the point that many will convert to virtual property more than physical property. This could lead to virtual currencies becoming real digital currencies, or traditional and digital currencies entering the virtual space. And, it talks about the fact that they understand that the lines are getting blurry in the world of currency. But again, go back to real life. As banks go online and plastic becomes ubiquitous, I can say it, physical cash is becoming antiquated. Electronic money has already taken over, and digital currency is just taking things a step further. For the first time in history, people are thinking in terms of numbers, not coins and bills. Once everyone realizes that the majority of cash in the world exists in the bank's computers with no hard money backing it at all, they won't see the effective difference. And I really, I liked this article. It really caught attention. I was talking to somebody. I took their taxes back to them last week, and we were talking about kind of the same kind of thing. We're advancing. Technology's advancing. Money's advancing. All the things we're doing with money is advancing. I mean, there has to come up with a system, because look at the retail sales over the last Christmas. I mean, it's March already, but they were talking about in March last Christmas, they were going on how retail sales in places like the mall and stores had declined so much. It wasn't huge, but it was a good bit, and sales online are climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. There are a lot of ways to make money online. People go on Amazon and buy things even at a higher price than you can get at the dollar store or Walmart, because it's easy. You go on, you click a button, it gets delivered to your house. Ta-da! You're all done. My phone broke the other day. Don't need to go to the store to get a new phone. Go on to, I have Verizon. Go on to Verizon. Tell them the phone's not working properly. The next day, I received a phone in the mail. It's absolutely amazing what you can do, and it's only going to get more and more and more and more. So I just kind of thought I would bring up money. It was fascinating to me, and I'm assuming it's fascinating to other people. They also talked about different other virtual coins, and I wanted to bring these up. These are all really a lot smaller, but just in case. And there is a website called coinmarketcap.com that talks about the different virtual currencies. There's something called Litecoin. It's an alternative coin. It's attempting to rival Bitcoin. They are attempting to create something that's a bit cheaper in value and easier to transact than the Bitcoin. The next one was called Peercoin, P-E-E-R, Peercoin. Again, it's an experiment in distributing money supply in a different way. It's mined in a different way than Bitcoin is mined. The next one was Freecoin, I'm uncertain, F-R-E-I coin. It is it's a way to change the circulation of currency. Apparently, Bitcoin at this point is still has a fixed supply, and these guys are saying, let's not do that. Let's just go crazy and get as much of it as you want. So that's what they're doing. There's also bills. They're called Ripple bills. Ripple bills is a payment system as well as a currency and distributed currency exchange. So what Ripple is trying to do is to be a protocol for moving money. So kind of, I guess, like a PayPal or a merchant account or something to that effect. This makes it possible to send money via emails and that sort of thing. Kind of interesting, huh? And then, of course, the last Market Watch. Now, this is on Market Watch. This is a money, stock market money thing. And the number 6 virtual currency is the Linden dollar from Second Life. I thought that was kind of really cool. A U.S. dollar bought 248 Linden dollars on last Sunday, and this was something that was published this week. So going back again, this is a virtual world where you can spend money, buy money, and have your stuff cashed out to money. One US dollar bought 248 Linden dollars on Sunday. Kind of interesting. All different kinds of stuff. What can you do in the world? What can you come up with? You know, our quote was, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." And people pick it up. People have dreams. People have ideas and things, and they take it and they run with it. And you just have to be persistent. You know, somebody came up with the idea of Bitcoin, and everybody said, "Pfft," and now look. You know, look at Second Life. They came up with a virtual world where you can buy things and spend things and meet people. And, you know, I don't know if you've ever been on Second Life, but you can do anything there. Like you can go to Star Trek world and fly in a spaceship and be part of a, you know, role playing kind of thing, or Alice in Wonderland. Yeah, I've been on there a couple times. Kind of cool. But anyhow, lots of things you can do. Somebody came up with that idea and has now turned it into a virtual currency that is recognized on the stock market. Who would have thought? Lots of different other things. World of Warcraft, we know, is a big game. EVE is a big game. Same thing, virtual currencies. They'll get to the point where you'll be able to go in space and mine and get currency and hit the cash out button. It'll go into your bank account. What else is possible? What in your mind or your thoughts, what little inkle did you hear in the back of your head the other day that you threw away because there's no way anybody would ever do that, think that, believe that, buy that, have that, see that? Not to mention all the things you hear and see from other people as well. You know, let's encourage each other to live our dreams and go out there. The imagination is just the blueprint of the future. So go out there and imagine things, because you know what happens when you imagine things.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, there you go. Here's another guy. Went out and wrote a song. That is like a cult classic now, all over the world. You can go on YouTube and find thousands of videos about the happy song. People doing it all over the world. You know, you never know until you know. So go out there, live your dream, come up with something new and fantastic and awesome. And if you have any questions about money, taxes, bookkeeping, or anything like that, please give me a call, Wendy Cassera, Taxpectations. And if we don't know the answers, we'll find it. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, weekend, day, sunshine, rainy, or a day on vacation. Have a great day, everyone, and don't forget to dream. Bye-bye.